Celtics Talk Podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Celtics Talk Podcast here on the NBC Sports Boston Podcast Network. Recording this on Friday afternoon as we ramp up to what should be, trying not to jinx it, the return of Robert Williams, his season debut expected against the Orlando Magic tonight. Listen, I probably should have recorded this podcast last night, but I passed out 3 different times at the news that he could be back on the court. And I only woke up this morning and I needed validation. I needed confirmation. He wasn't at shoot around, which we just left over at the Auerbach Center. But enough players hinted that, yeah, it sure seems like he's going to play tonight. So I can finally get excited. And I've been asking a lot of guys around the team, like, how does Rob look? What can we expect? And kind of the crazy part is everyone keeps telling me that he looks great. He looks like his old self. He has the same crazy vertical leaping, his crazy athleticism, and that as a team, they're just energized to go get a player like that. I got a chance to sit down with Sam Hauser. You'll hear that interview coming up as part of this podcast. And I kept quizzing Sam. I'm like, there's got to be some limitation, right? No. Like, Rob is out there flying around doing Rob things, and it's just been a ramp-up process of making sure that, one, he had his wind ready, even though I don't expect him to play a whole lot of minutes tonight, and just making sure that, like, he when he lands, it looks right, but that he has the right gait when he's running, that he's not compensating on that knee. But essentially, as soon as he felt ready, the Celtics were going to be willing to turn him loose. Obviously, had a little bit of the false start out in San Francisco. I think Rob was eager to play in that game, kind of have a big stage for his return. And yet, from meeting with the media out there and expressing optimism about that to sort of then having to go out there and play 3-on-3, and it just didn't look right at times. You get the sense that he needed maybe just a little bit more time, and the Celtics probably made the right decision to ramp him down and just let him kind of come back when it was absolutely clear that he was ready. The 2-day break here, coming back from the West Coast, this seems like the perfect opportunity. You turn him loose, 2 games against the same team here in the Orlando Magic. They got a bunch of big bodies. It'll be a quite the big boost for the Celtics to have Rob back out there. You're also expecting to get Al Horford back. So, a couple questions here. Like, what we don't know is, will Rob play as a starter out of the gates? Will he be brought off the bench? Talking to Malcolm Brogdon today, I thought it was interesting. Malcolm is super interested. He hasn't had a chance to play with Rob yet. And part of the reason when he came here, there was excitement with Jalen and Jason and Al, but here's this, unicorn of a player who's just unlike anybody else in the league in terms of, especially when he can throw it up at the rim. And think about the way Malcolm Brogdon can carve up a defense and throw those lobs. Right now he's looking on that second unit and trying to throw, like, Luke Cornett's done an admirable job, but there is a difference between throwing it up for Luke Cornett and throwing it up for Robert Williams, who can kind of fly around and make even the worst passes look like good stuff. I would say I would expect Rob to play, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, 10-15 minutes out of the gates, maybe 5 minutes in his first stint, 5 minutes in the second stint. I don't know what the right answer is. I'm eager to see him back with the starters because that group was so good last year. But the Celtics have played small, gone 5 out, and so it would be drastic to sort of go back to necessarily being like a double big lineup with Al and Rob. But again, those numbers from last season were dominant. I think the Celtics are going to have to explore that again at some point, maybe not in the infancy of his return, but certainly at some point you want to see how that looks. And are the Celtics starters still dominant? Do they get back to being the top ranked defense and just really clamping down on teams the way they did a year ago? Because now you've got this boosted bench, and now the trickle down effect of getting Al and Rob back is you got Derek White and Grant Williams going to play on a second unit that already has Brogdon, and if Hauser, and you'll hear him talk about his little shooting slump right now, but if he can get himself going again, and now Cornette and Blake Griffin are luxury depth, and Peyton Pritchard is still there, this team is really, really kind of loaded. And I think that's sort of the vibe I get just as Rob has ramped up here has been, it's an embarrassment of riches because you got the best record in basketball, and now you're adding Rob back for game 30 with a chance to sort of maybe even go up another level, which is sort of a scary thought for the rest of the NBA based on the way the Celtics have played. Now, what can Rob do when he's out there? Like I joke this week on Celtics Post, I don't know if I need to give you a reminder. I think people got a pretty good idea about what Rob is going to bring on the courts, the vertical spacing, his ability to go up and finish dunks, his ability to pass out of the high post, the dime lord at times. And then defensively, like when the Celtics put him in at that free safety position at the middle of last season, and Ime makes the tweak, and the Celtics defense had been like good, but not great. and Rob goes to the roamer role, and now he's cheating off 3-point shooters and able to help if someone like penetrates past one of your guards. All of a sudden, like Marcus Smart can be way more aggressive. Marcus told us this out in San Francisco. Right now you take a chance, and if you get burnt, like there's not a lot of backline protection. You got Rob out there as a deterrent. Either he's going to block the shot, or he's going to certainly make people think twice about going up at the basket. And Rob is good enough and quick enough to get back out and contest shooters. So, look, will he be what he was last year right off the bat? Probably not. He's going to have some rust. It's going to take some time. But the level they can potentially get to with Rob out there could be something special. And look, I'm just going to say it, like, selfishly, this feels like my Super Bowl because as the president of the Robert Williams fan club, I've been dreaming about this day. I can remember that September day, finding out he had to have the second surgery. Quite the gut punch when you're expecting what the possibility of this season was. I go back to it. The Celtics have done just a beyond admirable job to be where they are with playing without Rob for these 29 games. When you consider that Al missed the last 5 and sat out the second night of back-to-backs, and Brogdon has missed some time. You've been out without Jalen and Jason on various nights, and yet very little has been able to stop this team. And now coming home, 7 straight games at home, you're going to be able to pace guys correctly. There's a real chance for this thing to take super flight. I go back to it. So you're 22-7 right now. If you were to go 6-1 at home, 28-9, you're looking at a situation where 41 games into the season, you're on a pace for 66, 68 wins. That'd be absurd. And so look, the challenges come. Bucks on Christmas Day, but we're all pretty energized with the ability to get Rob Williams back here and see where this team can go. I can tell you just from covering that San Francisco practice where Rob was trying to get himself ready for that game, there was just a different energy in the building. And now he wasn't out there when it opened for shoot around today, but you just get the sense like the players know and they understand like their championship hopes hinge not only on everybody, like Jalen and Jason got to be healthy and Marcus has to be playing to a high level, but having Rob playing to his full capabilities just changes the entire dynamic of this team. It changes the ultimate ceiling of this team, which is already pretty high. Like even without Rob, it was probably championship level. And now it's going to get a little boost up a little higher. But enough about me talking about it. I want to get into this interview with Sam Hauser. Now we talk about, like, again, Sam's struggles, Sam singing, because the players had to do some Christmas time singing today. Sam's golf game, which is evidently elite. You're going to hear him talk about it. I asked him afterward. He said he shot a 69 out in Phoenix when the team played there. He's a 4 handicap at the peak of his abilities during the pandemic, and I might need golf lessons from him because he's just really good. If this NBA thing doesn't work out, he might be able to, go on the PGA Tour if he has to. But the most important part is he's excited too for the return of Rob and what he's seen in practice. So I quiz him on what we can expect. Let's get into that interview with Sam Hauser.
Kick off fall with game-winning deals at Route 9 Nissan.
Lease a new Rogue Sport for $289 a month. That's right, just $289 a month.
Score your game-winning deal now and visit today or online anytime at route9nissanauto.com.
We're kicking off fall with big savings at State Line Subaru.
Like a new Subaru Crosstrek. Drive home for just $299 a month. That's right, only $299.
Score big savings today. State Line Subaru, a driver's best friend.
First off, Sam, what's it like being back home, getting to actually sleep in your bed after a 2-week road trip?
Oh, it's wonderful. The road trip was pretty successful. We played well, but it's definitely good to be back and be back for a couple weeks for sure.
What was it like watching that rally in the fourth quarter against the Lakers? How do you come out of that? Like, because there's gonna be some frustration in like letting go of the rope for a little bit, but then pulling out a win like that. How did it make you guys feel?
I think it made us feel good. Definitely some areas we need to improve on, but I think it showed our mental toughness. Staying in the game, knowing that it's not over till it's over, and we stuck around just long enough and made it run when we needed it. So I think it's definitely a good win for us.
A chance you guys will get Rob Williams tonight. Just from your interactions and seeing him in practice and seeing him last year, what's it like having a guy like Rob around?
Man, he's a great dude. I know he's excited to get out there. We're excited for him, and we miss him out there anchoring our defense. So we can't wait to have him back.
What's the what do you see just in practice? The dunks, the blocks. Like, what's the craziest part of watching Rob operate?
You know, he's just like this freak athlete, and even coming off of surgery, he looks normal, and that's the craziest thing about it. You would have never thought he went through a surgery and had rehab for the last however many months.
He's still jumping out of the gym and all crazy like that?
Oh yeah. He doing Rob things. Yeah.
Now that's going to get people excited.
Yeah.
You were just telling me you got forced to go upstairs and sing Let It Snow. How would you rate your performance?
I will be honest, I'll give myself a 7 out of 10. I think if there was some music, I think I could have gotten into it.
You had to just go a cappella on it?
Yeah, it was a cappella, so I don't know how my pitch or tone was, but, you know, we'll see.
Did you have any choice of the song, or they just like, it's got to be Let It Snow?
Yeah, I had a choice, and I just felt like Let It Snow was my type of song.
We were joking about before you got over here. I said, like, do you ever hear yourself up on the Jumbotron? How off-putting is that? And what do you think when you're going to be going through like a high-intensity game at some point, you're going to hear Let It Snow blaring over the Jumbotron at some point?
Yeah, you know, it's going to be an interesting moment whenever that happens. I hope that I'm not like in the game or, you know, so I can at least kind of acknowledge it. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Who's the best singer on the team?
Oh, I think Luke is.
Real?
He's got some good tone, good pitch to his voice. Definitely, he could be a part of like a acapella group, probably.
What can't he do?
It's like guy is a man of many talents.
Yeah. All right, so you're going through a little bit of I would say, because you were so good at the start of the year where you're shooting, like you're going through a little bit of a rough patch. How do you focus and just work your way through that?
Yeah, you know, things like this happen. You know, it's basketball. You can't be perfect. Teams have gotten me a little bit different, you know, with the hot start of the year. But, you know, I just stick with my routine, trusting it, knowing that, you know, I'm still a good shooter even though I'm missing. And the best part about it is, like, the shot still feels good coming off my hand, and that's always encouraging. So I would just keep letting it fly. What's
the difference with how they're defending? Are they closing out faster to you? Like, what is changing in that?
Yeah, you know, I think just guarding me a little bit tighter, showing a little bit more, like, I guess, respect in a sense to, you know, my shooting ability. So, you know, it may open up other things for myself in my game, and maybe it'll open up driving lanes for other guys too. So, gotta look at it that way as well.
Did your confidence, like as a shooter, does your confidence ever waver, or do you just got to be like consistent with like this shot is going in?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's confidence every now and then kind of wavers, but I think overall my confidence is pretty good in my shot, and I know that I'm a good shooter, and I'm gonna keep letting it fly. So, and they're gonna fall. You know, it's a law of averages.
What's on Sam Hauser's Christmas list?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. Honestly,
Mom and Daddy, have they reached out? Like they got a...
Well, my parents are gonna get into town with my brother and sister, so safe travels for them first and foremost. A win on Christmas, and then a great Christmas dinner with my family.
Ooh. Now, is there any? What's the family allegiances here? I mean, you guys are from Wisconsin. You're playing the Bucks.
We're Celtics fans. We're Celtics fans through and through. Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Well, that's a good Christmas list. But like, I mean, you got to think of something material. Like, I don't know what NBA players need, but
I did ask for a new golf rangefinder. Yeah, I like golf, and I'm in need of a rangefinder. I never have had one before, so. Yeah, I'm looking forward. Hopefully Santa can bring that.
I asked my mom for, again, this is like so late, but I asked for a launch monitor. Because like, I want to do like indoor, but yeah. So I heard you were the best golfer on the course?
Yeah, I was the best one that day.
What's your handicap?
I think during COVID, I was probably around like a 4. I played pretty well in Phoenix. I don't know if it was true to what. Yeah, I hadn't swung a club in 3 months. I don't know. It might have just been.
Sometimes that's your best golf.
Yeah, it could have been a fluky round, but I'll take it.
All right. Well, let me know if that comes through for your Christmas gift. Sam, thank you.
All right, good stuff from Sam. I love that he's staying loose. He could. It's been a rough couple of weeks for Sam. The 3-point shot, he was up at close to 50% for the start of the season. Hit a little bit of a bump here in December. I don't think that's unusual. You do see a lot of, I keep calling him, he's more like a rookie, even though he was around last season. This is his first full season as a rotation piece. I'd be a lot more worried about Sam's slump if he wasn't able to hold up defensively, if the shooting was the only reason he was on the court. It's certainly a big part of it. He's got to knock down shots in order to stay in the rotation. But I do think that he can sort of power through this, and he's got the right attitude about it. And he doesn't get too caught up in the little slump that he's going through. It is, we just passed the December 15th, and that's sort of the day where trade season starts around the NBA. One thing I think we'll probably talk a lot about here moving forward is there any move out there that the Celtics can make? And for probably the first 20 games of the season, I didn't really see it. Now, as Sam starts to slump, there'll be some chatter about, could you go out and add another wing? I think that's a potential no matter like how Sam's playing. I think you can never have too much wing depth, and the Celtics certainly needed another body they could throw out there in the playoffs last year, even if it was just to defend Andrew Wiggins in the finals for 5 minutes and spare Jalen and Jason. So I think that's going to be maybe a priority, especially as your big man situation settles in with the return of Rob and Al. But just something to keep an eye on. If Sam continues to struggle, I think that maybe elevates that need. But I don't think it's anything close to like a must do right now. And I do think ultimately a lot of these trade exceptions that the Celtics have probably not going to get used. It's more likely to use the Danilo Gallinari disabled player exception, which they could use to sort of get someone off the buyout market. Maybe there's a more proven veteran at that point. All right, we'll be back after tonight's game. There's going to be a quick turnaround, so I need you all to listen to this one, maybe listen to it twice, and get ready for the return of Robert Williams. And then you'll hear me geeking out from the Garden in like 7 hours about how he played and overreacting to all the awesomeness that he's about to do out there. So go like, subscribe, check us out on that YouTube page. We'll catch you on the post-game pod after tonight's game.